Am I the asshole? For not cooking my autistic brother's safe food? My teenage brother came to visit me along with our dad. My mum joined a couple days later and altogether they stayed for like a week. Brother is autistic and he prefers to just eat fried chicken for every meal. He will have rice and some curries sometimes too, but like 85 of his meals are fried chicken. I was making prawn pasta from scratch for my dad and my brother asked if I could make him some because he liked the look of it. So I did. I have frozen chicken tenders in the freezer, so if he hates it I could have made those quickly for. My mum hates prawns, so they basically don't eat it at their home. She's decided though that means nobody in our family likes prawns. Anyway, when she arrived my brother started raving about the pasta I made for them, and as soon as he mentioned that it had prawns my mum lost it. She started yelling at me saying I was inconsiderate of my brother's needs and that I should have just made him a fried chicken burger instead of trying to force him out of his comfort zone. It's been weeks and she's still mad at me over it, even more so today because apparently little bro asked her to get the recipe from me. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. If your brother asked to eat some of the food, ate it, and liked it, no problem. You had a backup option of his favorite meal for if when he didn't like what you cooked. Sounds like your mother was mad you made a food your brother enjoyed and she doesn't want to have to cook it for him. Your dad too, where is he in all of this? Is doing your brother a disservice by not exposing him to more foods. And then deciding certain foods are the only foods he can eat. Good job widening his food palette. Not the asshole. Sounds like your mum is jealous you got your brother to eat something different. Or maybe she's upset she now has to cook something new. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see a problem here, so I'd just step back a while until she gets over herself. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I was first under the impression this was going to go a whole other different direction, but this is one of the sweeter stories involving siblings and one sibling's safe food. Good job. Not the asshole. Your mom being out of her comfort zone is the problem. When I saw the header I thought this was going to go the opposite, but absolutely, utterly not the asshole. In fact, as an autistic person I salute you for finding another food your brother likes. And, I suspect, your mother is an even bigger rat than she appears, because I bet there's other foods she's kept from your brother because she doesn't like those foods. WTF? No, you are not the asshole. If you had forced food on him then yeah, but he asked. Your mum just doesn't want to have to cook prawns. Not the asshole. Your mother is the problem here, not you. Wow. Definitely not the asshole. And your brother seems to have liked the meal, so double not the asshole. Your mother needs to understand that not everyone has the same tastes in food as her. Not the asshole. Mom doesn't want to explain that she won't be making it, or disappoint your brother. Too bad, your house, you cooked what you wanted and they were happy to eat it. Nata, you got asked to cook him some. At no point did you force it down his throat and had something on standby in case it was a case of him not liking it so he wouldn't have gone hungry. Honestly, mum needs to grow TF up, rolling eyes face. Besides, this way your brother might be more inclined to even try other foods. Not the asshole. You'd think a grown woman with a son that had such issues with food would be absolutely ecstatic that he has tried something new that he actually enjoyed and wants again. Obviously not the asshole. You offered him something new that you and your dad like and you also had a backup for him in case he doesn't liked it. He liked it and sounds like he enjoyed it so much, that he's even asking your mom to get the recipe. Why the heck is she mad? You didn't force her or your brother to eat it. Not the asshole. She should be excited that he has another safe food. I make food I don't like all the time for my family. I just adjust it for me. In this case maybe she could make her portion with chicken instead. She needs to realize the world doesn't revolve around her and she is hindering his development growth by not allowing him to expand his food choices. I bet he only eats fried chicken so much because that's all she will make for him. Send your dad the recipe, maybe he will make it for him. Not the asshole, and that's awesome he tried it. I think your mom has fallen into lazy behavior by not having to cook much for your brother aside from chicken and rice. I'm curious if he wants to try other things as well. WTF? Not the asshole. Definitely there's nothing wrong with your brother trying new foods if he wants to try. You were not forcing him or anything. Not the asshole. Your mother is infantilizing your brother and his diagnosis. Lots of autistic people have safe foods and no-go foods, and it's important to be aware of that when providing them meals. If they want to try something new, though, as long as it is not an allergy situation, you should absolutely encourage it. I would do a backflip if my kid wanted to try a prawn. Now cut, you'll excuse me, I need to go throw some more nuggets in the air fryer. Not the asshole. He's the one who asked. Besides, if he liked it, then there's no problem. Definitely not the asshole. It's good for him to branch out within his own comfort area, especially if down the line he settles into something like the way my food tolerances behave, where my safe food rotates. I'll eat the same thing for 2 months and then would rather starve than touch it. Not the asshole. Your mother doesn't want to have to make it. I would ask my mother, why don't we eat such, and she would say because your father doesn't like it. I found out after she passed away, and I would cook or suggest things for him to eat that it was her that did not like such and such. Trying new foods is super important but hard for autistic folks sometimes. I'd know, as I am one. I have a funky disorder that pairs with my autism called AFID. I went from eating one food and one food only for months to my partner working with me trying new foods, and now I have tons of meals I can eat. You found a new food for your bro to enjoy. That's super cool. Good on you. Not the asshole. Is your mom autistic? Mom might be the one with the autism. Stupid ass bullshit. It's a hard one because introducing your brother to new foods is a good thing. But on the other hand, prawns are gross, and if someone introduced them to my house and I had to then make them for him, I would be pissed too. You didn't force him to do anything. He asked you to fix him some, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, Natar. Not the asshole. Your mum's a DCK and looks like she has made your brother only like fried chicken to make her life easier. Poor boy's palate must have been like, WTF heaven is this when they tasted those prawns. I hate cheese. Please don't judge me, so avoid it. However, my children and dog love it, and I love them. So when I cook, if they want cheese, they get cheese. Not the asshole. Your brother wanted to try new things. It does make me wonder if it is his choice to only eat fried chicken or your mother's unwillingness to let him try other things. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. If your brother liked it, there's no issue. It's your mom's issue. Emo. I hate seafood, but I still cook it for my husband once in a while when he's craving it. Only is your mother. Not the asshole. So your brother asked for some pasta, you made it for him, he tried it and enjoyed it. And your mother is angry and trying to paint this as a negative, abusive action? Has she hit her head? Not the asshole in the slightest, but she sure is. Why do I feel like little bro doesn't hate all food, just your mom's? Not the asshole. Your brother expressed interest in the pasta before you even served it. I can see no reason that you would offer chicken if he wanted pasta. Your mom is being ridiculous. Not the asshole. She is doing your brother a disservice by trying to limit him to his safe foods. It's great if he wants to try new things, even better if he enjoys them. Not the asshole. But your mother is, a big one. Brother is autistic and he prefers to just eat fried chicken for every meal. After your mom losing all her marbles about your brother enjoying a different meal, I have my doubts that it truly is him preferring it, or your mother just manipulating him to just eat that because clearly he likes other stuff and just isn't allowed to. Not the asshole. There is something wrong with your mom though. Not the asshole. Your mother is intentionally holding your brother back. Am I the asshole? For telling my parents why my boyfriend had a panic attack? My boyfriend Casey is on the spectrum and is very touch adverse, especially people he doesn't know well. Some of it stemming from his autism and some of it from the years he spent on the streets surviving when his parents kicked him out at 13 when they found out he was gay. They apparently had a hard enough problem just dealing with him being autistic, as my family is very huggy and touchy. It's kinda like our love language, so it was hard for me when I had to wait for him to get comfortable enough with me that I can hold him, hug him, etc. Even still, I usually ask him first just in case. Even though we've been together for about a year and some months, he hasn't really met my family yet because we live across the country at school. I brought him home with me for a family reunion last weekend, and I explained to my parents and my siblings in the vaguest way that he doesn't like physical touch too much because he doesn't like people knowing about his time on the street. Apparently my mom saw me give him a hug when we got to my parents' house Friday and assumed I was over-exaggerating, and when we got to the door she just opened the door and grabbed us up in one of her big bear hugs. Casey of course freaked the FCK out and had a panic attack. It took me a good while to get him to calm down, and he didn't want to stay at my parents', so we had to get a hotel room. I called my parents later that night while Casey was asleep and explained some things so that they could really understand what happened and to not do something like that again. Everything was fine until Sunday when my dad and Casey got to talking and my dad absent-mindedly said something about his parents missing out on such a sweet boy. Casey panicked and just got up and ran off. It took me like 2 hours to find him, and he was mad and yelled at me that I had no right to say anything to my parents. I tried to apologize and I told him I only said anything so they'd back off. He yells at me that he doesn't know if he can trust me right now and that he just wanted to go home, and so we left early. He's still been mad at me all week about it. Am I the asshole? Nah. But you should realize that relationships don't have to be this hard, especially at 19. Sometimes people need to get their own mental house in order before pairing up. Casey needs therapy, not a relationship. Not the asshole for now. That seems exhausting to have to deal with. Nah. You should have discussed this with your boyfriend before disclosing specifics to your parents, but your heart was in the right place. Your mom is a bit of a jerk for assuming that your boyfriend would be fine with hugging her just because he was willing to hug his own boyfriend. Not the asshole. I know at 19 it feels like forever. You don't have to fix him. It's wonderful that you're a caring person and you want to help him. Sounds like he has rightfully so a lot of trauma that some therapy could be beneficial. Don't lose your spark trying to be boyfriend and healer. PLS, take care of yourself. Mental health problems are literally the worst thing to deal. Cases will kill you inside. Casey need therapy. Do not be a resting pole. Your BF needs therapy, and he needs to learn how to manage. This sounds very exhausting. Everything was fine until Sunday when my dad and Casey got to talking and my dad absent-mindedly said something about his parents missing out on such a sweet boy. Can you explain why this set him off? Most people understand that their spouse, significant other, will share at the very least, broad strokes about them to family. If he got so pissed about an honest mistake, being pouty about it a week later, good riddance. Nah. Your BF clearly is going through a lot, but you and your family have good intentions. You're very young to be dealing with this level of intensity. When I was 17-18 I was with a guy with a similar backstory and mental issues. Those relationships can become very codependent and toxic quickly. I think you need to ask yourself if you really want to be dealing with this at your age. This is the age relationships should be fun and easy. And your BF clearly needs time to process and heal from his traumas. Not the asshole, but listen. Relationships are not meant to be this much hard work straight from the get-go. I would argue that your BF deserves love and support, but he also needs to work on himself, through therapy and counseling. His outbursts and panic attacks anytime someone touches him are going to be detrimental to both of you. If the mere mention of his parents missing out on a great guy sends him over the edge like this, he needs help. Your dad was being kind and didn't say anything hinting at him being kicked out or living on the streets. Not the asshole, but you need to talk to your BF. You are not the asshole. Your boyfriend has a severe issues that he needs to work on. They are no fault of his own, but he still has to try to survive in this world. Additionally, it's frightening that your family didn't believe you and ignored your warning. You went out of your way to tell them what was going on and the best way to handle your boyfriend. And I can understand why he is upset that you disclosed personal information without his consent, but also I think your heart was in the right place, and you wanted them to be able to really understand and support both him and you. Hopefully you can navigate this differently in the future by discussing with him first the things you want to disclose and why. But also it sounds like you're in over your head a little bit with this relationship and needing your family's support, so I don't blame you for getting it. I feel for Casey, but I think you are incompatible. Nah. Not the asshole. It's nice you're trying to be kind. But you're 19, break it off in the kindest way and be there for him as a friend. Enjoy your youth. Relationships are supposed to be fun and not stressful like this. It is not up to you to fix a child, especially coming from another child you. Not the asshole. It sounds like Casey needs to work with a therapist on his emotional triggers before he's ready for a relationship. Relationships should not be this complicated at your age. Not the asshole, but that kid is in no way ready for any kind of partner relationship. You're the asshole. You could have said he had a strong aversion to being touched without revealing that his parents threw him out when he was 13. That wasn't your story to share. Your mother is also an A for deciding that don't hug Casey was a suggestion that she could ignore. He needs to get some help before he's ready for a relationship. Sorry. I lived on the streets, and I don't like people hugging me, so I get those. I have PTSD and anxiety and ADHD, so I have issues. What I don't do is make my issues other people's problems or fault. I know you care about him, but there's just too much drama. Running off, making you worry, freaking out, being mad at you for trying to help and yelling at you. Relationships don't have to be that difficult. You can't fix him, that's his job. And nobody has a right to yell at you. I don't care about the reasons. You are worth more than that. Not the asshole. Also. Really, dude? Do you really want a relationship with someone who is clearly suffering from multiple mental illnesses and is that quick to yell at you? He sounds like a bad person to date. Not the asshole. He's been through stuff, and needs serious therapy counseling if he ever wants a serious relationship to last, or to bite the bullet, take the risk and lean on someone. Nah, your boyfriend is a lot of work. Not the asshole. Yikes, I don't think relationships should be hard at that age. Been through it, we all have. I think he needs to go to therapy and process what has happened over time. That sucks what he went through, but I understand you being in a tough position as well. Going forward, I would leave our stories that are from people and keep it plain but straight to the point that he or your future partners don't like. Not the asshole, and while I feel sorry for you boyfriend, he needs therapy and to learn to accept himself, not a relationship. For his own good and your mental health, you should make an exit plan. Casey panicked and just got up and ran off. It took me like 2 hours to find him, and he was mad and yelled at me that I had no right to say anything to my parents. I tried to apologize and I told him I only said anything so they'd back off. You took on extra hard BF work. There will be glitches. Doing good, carry on. Not the asshole. Oof, the softest of you're the asshole. You clearly meant well and it was an honest mistake, but it really wasn't your information to share without permission. Hopefully he will calm down and realize you weren't trying to betray him, you were trying to protect him, and now that you know just how serious of a line that is for him, there's no way you'd cross it again. Give him time. I hope it works out for you, you seem to really love him. Not the asshole, I bet your parents were impressed when he ran away and hid. Am I the asshole? For refusing to give my son's mom extra custody after her boyfriend asked me? I co-parent an 8-year-old boy with my ex. We share 50-50 custody with a specific custody calendar to ensure we both get the same amount of days with our son. Last year, my ex asked if I could give her my Christmas week in exchange for a week in the future because she wanted to go visit her family out of state and could only do it on the days I had my son. I said yes. From that point on, she has refused to give me my week back. She always had some excuse or wanted to do it when it worked for her. In other words, she scammed me out of custody time. I said so be it. Earlier this week, she asked again, if she could have our son the week of Christmas. I have him the week of and she has him the week after. Again, to visit family. I said of course. But need to give me 2 weeks in return. One from last year and for this year. And I get those 2 weeks before you get any extra time so you can't fuck me over again. One of those weeks can be the week of Thanksgiving when you have him. She refused and tried gaslighting me by saying she gave me back the week I gave up last year lol. I told her there was no room to negotiate. Take it or leave it. The next day her boyfriend called me. He said he was going to propose this Thanksgiving, which is why my ex doesn't want to give up Thanksgiving. They both wanted to travel to see his family for Christmas and celebrate their engagement. That's why I can't have her Thanksgiving time and why she needs my Christmas week. I told him my custody arrangement was none of his business and I don't have to explain shit to him. In fact, I'm not open to any custody changes anymore. You can go tell my son's mom that you faffo. Now he's trying to walk back everything he said because he knows he seriously fucked up by inserting himself into this matter. Of course he said he was just trying to help out. Not the asshole. Her BF has FD up big style by sticking his beak in. If she refuses to give you the time back you are owed, you are well within your rights to refuse any further custody changes. My brother has exactly the same issue with his ex and his 2 boys. She expects him to be flexible for her but not the other way round. Not the asshole. I plan to have a wonderful Christmas with my son this year. She's asking for 2 years in a row Christmas, and Thanksgiving too? Nope. Your family deserves to have some of these ritual times with him too. Not the asshole. Imagine if she just gave you the week last year, but instead she wanted to be an ass and ruin it for herself. Not the asshole. Stick to original custody agreement from now on. Remember, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. She effed up. There's absolutely no reason the BF has to propose at Thanksgiving. Any day of the year will do just fine. But more to the point, are we supposed to believe OPSEX actually knows that the BF is proposing at Thanksgiving? That's really weird, or both of them are lying. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Sometimes being a nice guy doesn't work out. X is 20 now and should be. So why do your family have to miss out for every occasion, every year? And her family gets preferential treatment? Not the asshole. And I loved it when you insisted on getting your weeks back prior to you giving her your designated week. If she apologizes for her BF getting involved, you could go back to that stance. Not the asshole. I think you've been more than fair with your ex given what you posted. I'm a step-parent myself and would never dare to step in between my wife and her ex regarding anything about my stepson unless both parties asked me. I don't think the ex was trying to be an asshat, but he seriously overstepped. Not the asshole. Her boyfriend probably really just tried to help and may not have been aware of her screwing you over before. She may have told him that she had already been even with you the custody time. So I wouldn't be mad at him. It's a good thing that he wants the kids involved. Instead of pushing the kid out of their life to start a new family, I'd appreciate that. But you have your rights and did the absolute right thing. Stand your ground and don't get pushed out of the kid's life either. You're doing a great job. Good luck. Not the asshole. She wants everything her way, but the world doesn't come made to order. I really don't get the proposal thing now. Everyone is talking about re-planning an engagement. If they're planning a proposal for Thanksgiving, then she knows he's asking and he knows she's going to say yes. So he already proposed. What am I missing? Not the asshole, by the way. They've shown they can't respect your court-ordered rights. So you gave no need to respect anything in addition to hers. Not the asshole. I mean, you said clearly at the end. Your ex-wife's BF has no skin in the game. Call your attorney and let her know what's up. You may end up in a custody battle soon. Edit: BF clearly did this at the urging of your ex, don't buy the gaslighting. Not the asshole. Get everything in writing. No verbal agreement no more. She wants to push you out of having quality family time with you, and that's just awful. Not the asshole. Put your foot down about custody. This may well be the start of a difficult situation where they are progressively stomping on your boundaries for more time and custody. Not the asshole. Check into parenting apps to communicate with your ex to document all messages. Not the asshole. She also FAFO. Never again, and if she asks for any favor going forward, she owes you a week. I believe in doing what's best for the child, but it goes both ways. Not our time with your son is precious, and she stole it last time. Not the asshole. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope you'll get that week back eventually. No. That's your son. You wanna spend quality time with him? So be it. Your son's mother seems to be trying to illegitimately have him full-time, and that's not cool. Not the asshole. Your ex has proved she isn't going to give you time back. It isn't fair on you or your son if you miss out on all the big holidays with your son. Also, I suspect if you give in to them and let them do this, they will schedule the wedding for a week you are supposed to have your son, and possibly schedule a family honeymoon again on a week you should have your son. Not the asshole. He fucked the dog, and he doesn't want to deal with the puppies, but there it is. Your ex started this when she screwed you over the year before. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I don't fault the BF assuming he asked nicely for privately approaching you about getting the extra week. He doesn't necessarily know that your ex stiffed you a visitation week last year. She could have told him that you were nice and just let her have the extra week, or he might not even have thought to ask about it. Your ex, on the other hand, committed a classic FAFO. Not the asshole. The next day her boyfriend called me. Hang up on Romeo there, and quit talking to the ex except through your attorney. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She doesn't deserve anything after last year. You enjoy your son this Christmas. Not the asshole, but maybe be petty and let your lawyer know she owes you a week from last year and you want it back this Thanksgiving. Not the asshole. Well played, sir. Not the asshole. X200B. Your proposal was more than fair. Not the asshole. She's proven she will screw you over if you trust her. On top of that, does she expect to have your son every Christmas now? I almost can't fault him for trying to help as long as he was respectful about it. Something tells me he is in for a rude awakening when he finally realizes how manipulative your ex is. Good for you for fighting for your time with your child. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The mom asked for a favor, broke her word. Nata, the BF shouldn't get in the middle of this. It's between you and your ex. She didn't give you your week and now wants another. That's been selfish. Good for you. Not the asshole. Best stick with the agreement you have now. Not the. In the best scenario, two parents cooperate with scheduling. But you tried that, and she didn't do her part. So now stick firmly to the court-ordered schedule. Not the asshole, but I would cut the guy some slack. He does have to deal with your ex after all. Am I the asshole? For giving skincare to my 13-year-old niece? So long story short, I am a 27-year-old woman with a niece who is now 13 years old. Long story, my sister is much older than me. For her birthday I went to the Korean skincare store and got her a little care package with fun bubbling or animal face masks, night cream, mist, a little serum in a cool-looking bottle, a cleanser and sunscreen. My sister got mad and said I was pressuring her to conform to beauty standards. She said that the animal masks and cute bottles are fun, but the inclusion of night cream and sunscreen could make her daughter already feel pressure not to age at 13. I see it as a fun way of ensuring good skin habits at an early age, considering most start their routines way too young, and I see it as a cute girly gift that she might enjoy, but my sister says 13 years old is too young and she shouldn't be worrying about aging. Am I the asshole? Sunscreen is very important to skin health. Fuck beauty standards, I'm talking long-term skin cancer prevention. Not the asshole, it's not like you got her makeup or Botox. Nah, but as someone who has received skincare products from her aunt for years, it gets sold fast. Don't make it a habit. Not the asshole, skincare products are just cleanser and moisturizer. Night cream is a moisturizer with a slightly different formula than day cream. The purpose is to keep the skin clean and toned and moisturized. Not all skincare routines are based on anti-aging, and sunscreen is essential for everyone. It's not a bad idea for you and your sister to talk to 13-year about your different views of skincare, because it is important to encourage teenagers to avoid the pressure of false beauty standards. Nah, it's a sweet gesture, but if your niece did not express any interest in this stuff, it could seem like you are pressuring her to perform beauty, or making a comment on her appearance. Teenagers are really vulnerable and insecure, especially girls. The beauty industry is a billion-dollar industry relying on exploitation of people insecurities, and I can see why your sister wants to protect her daughter from that as long as possible, and let her just enjoy being a kid. Yes, sunscreen is important, but lots of skincare is unnecessary and expensive, and elaborate skincare routines are marketing hype. Info. Did your niece want a skincare routine for her birthday? I mean, it is good to get in the habit of maintaining your skin health, but if that's not something she's interested in, I can see why your sister got huffy. I'll say nah to an extent. It feels like a very gendered gift, girls getting feminine products at a certain age versus boys getting cool books or toys. At school we used to do Christmas gift exchanges, and it suckled when I'd get a candle or perfume because I'm a fab. It's different if your niece has expressed interest in skincare, though that's usually not what 13-year-olds are thinking of. In regards to sunscreen, the focus of sunscreen should never be it prevents aging. That's extremely harmful for their future mental health. The focus should be on preventing cancer. 13 is too young for sunscreen? Does your sister like the idea of skin cancer? Not the asshole. I know how OP and her sister feels about it, but how does the niece feel? Did she ever show any interest in beauty care products? That's important info in deciding if OP was an R. Oh, for crying out loud. Not the asshole. Your sister overreacted to an innocently and good-naturedly given gift. You weren't shaming her into using age-defying products. And night cream isn't poison, people. It's moisturizer. If there are any ingredients in it that she's sensitive to, then her mom can remove it from the basket and take it for herself after saying thank you for such a thoughtful gift. We will definitely have fun with the mask. Also, at 13 she probably doesn't even know everything she may be allergic to, and the only way to find out is to have an allergic reaction to something. I actually laughed after reading this and thought, really? Now the sunscreen was a good gift, the other stuff was a little insensitive, but I think your sister overreacted, a bit, too. Nah, your sister is right, even though it sounds like she's overreacted a bit, you should have checked what you were getting with her first. Beauty products are a whole toxic minefield, I think maybe even more so in Korean culture. And it's sensible for your sister to not want her kid getting into that at 13. Note: I can understand being a little anxious about night cream because 99 of those that I see push the anti-aging idea. But sunscreen? That's not anti-aging, that's anti-cancer. My mom didn't wear sunscreen when she was young cause it was nothing, and she has had to have at least 10 spots removed from her face and back. And each time it's scary because we don't know how deep it's going to go. I know a woman slightly older than my mother who practically has no nose left because of all the skin cancer they've had to remove from it. And you know what else helps against skin cancer besides sunscreen? Healthy moisturized skin. Now I've done similar but only animal face masks and forcing sunscreen on my nieces. My sister was fine with both because one was cute and one stops skin cancer. I actually agree with your sis that night cream is too much at her age because her skin simply does not need it, and too many chemicals are bad for young skin. I totally get your intentions, but your sister also has a point on the night cream. That all said, sunscreen is not a beauty product. Every single person on this planet should be putting some form on every day. Skin cancer does not discriminate in any way, and it is a big deal. Not the asshole, but just to give you some feedback, when I was that age I had horrible acne. It was purely hormonal and no skincare routine would ever have been able to improve it. Even dermatologist prescribed stuff failed, aside from oral medication. Anyways, during that time well-meaning aunts would always give me skincare items and gift certificates for facials etc. It really made me feel self-conscious about my skin. And it felt like they thought that my looks were the most important thing about me. My personal opinion is 13 is too young for night cream or serums. A nice moisturizer, cleanser and sunscreen is enough. If I were the mum, I would warn my sister too, but I wouldn't get mad over something this easy. So, I can see you came from a good place. So not the you did what you think is best. Nah, but you might want to back down on this subject since she's his mum. I wish I had started at that age. I really do. Info: is your niece interested in skincare or just beauty and makeup? Because if she is, it's a fun gift. If she very clearly isn't, it's an insult. Not the asshole: yeah, you could have consulted her about the night cream serum, but face masks are mostly harmless and everyone should wear sunscreen on their face every day regardless of if they care about beauty or not. She can give it to her kid and leave the night cream out. The rest of the stuff sounds like it'd be fun for teens, and she probably hopefully won't get carried away with it. Nah, did your niece ever express that she wanted this though? Because if someone got me skincare without me asking for it, I'd definitely take it as a comment on my skin acne, which isn't what a 13-year-old or anyone needs for their birthday. Not the asshole: I wish I had an aunt who did this for me. When I was 13, I had awful skin because I had no idea what to do for skincare, and that would have given me a nudge in the right direction. Sunscreen is a beauty standard? I thought it was to not die. Not the asshole. Definitely not the asshole. Good skincare should be something you try to instill at a young age, so it's not such a hard habit to make later in life. It'd be different if you did it and told her that how badly she needed it to stay young, but you didn't. Not to mention she's 13 and is apt to get acne. It would be super beneficial for her to get a jump on skincare to help with that. Helps her build healthy habits and keeps her from potentially getting bullied over acne. I see no issue. Not the asshole. I see it as a fun way of ensuring good skin habits at an early age. You're the asshole because you are in fact giving her that gift with the hope she will be pressured into beauty standards and anti-aging routine at young age. You're the asshole. Women spend entirely too much money on all the various bells and whistles of skincare, and you just gave your niece the entrance drug, helping to develop the belief that she needs all that stuff. Sunscreen yes, but not the rest. You're the asshole. It's a weird-ass birthday gift for a 13-year-old. Would you have given the same thing if she was a boy, or would you have given him something actually fun? The only thing she needs from this is sunscreen, which is still a weird-ass birthday gift. Am I the asshole? For not wanting visitors in the first 4 weeks of my baby's life, including my in-laws. Not the asshole. I did this with my third child and since hugely regretted not doing it with the first two. The first 6 weeks was just me and my daughter healing and bonding and establishing feeding. It was perfect. When my eldest was born, I had a brutal emergency section and had 15 staples across my stomach. My mom turns up to the house, takes the baby off me and sends me into the kitchen to make tea. I could barely walk and was in excruciating pain. My boobs were full and leaking as my milk had just come in and he needed a feed, so was restless. I'm still cross now and he's just turned 17, smiley face. Not the asshole. Surgery is a major event. Your mom is there for a very practical and needed purpose, to take care of you. In-laws are being rude. It's about competing with your mom for baby time. Otherwise they would have a plan to be useful. Take your time healing. 3 weeks might not be enough. Forget the "it's not fair" whining. Take care of your health and your baby. Congratulations. Not the asshole. I had the same rule for my kids too. One of my kids caught whooping cough at 4 weeks when I loosened the rules. She was very ill and hospitalized for a week, on home oxygen for 3 months. I should have stuck to my guns, but everyone pressured me for being such a worrywart. Your husband doesn't like it when she drops by unannounced. Can't imagine why. I don't like when people show up unannounced either. Is it too hard to pick up a phone, call and ask if it's a good time to come over? In El Salvador and probably most Hispanic countries, babies and moms didn't go out the first 40 days, not even doctor's appointments. I had mine in the 80s. La Cuarentena. Not the asshole. It's your baby, your recovery. They should respect that. Period. Good luck, cop. Nah. Do they want to come over to help or to hold the baby? There is a big difference. If I could have had a week or two of peace to sleep and recover, it would have been nice. Newborns sleep a lot in the first few weeks, basically when they aren't eating. So company kind makes it hard for you to sleep during that time as well. That time, the newborn snuggles, and some peace to recover is so precious and important for reducing PPD risks. I'm going with you're the asshole, and I'm 2 MPP, so I know what it's like in those first weeks. Babies change so much in the first weeks, and while I understand you'll be healing, I don't see how it's fair to your husband that his parents don't get to see his child at all in the first weeks. He should have a say in this. It's his child too. You don't have to be a host or even part of the visit, but he should be allowed to have his parents come see his child at least a couple times. If you're worried about the baby getting sick, then make them wear a mask. Or make a rule that they aren't there just to cuddle the baby, they have to help with something. Not the asshole. You need to recover and baby needs as little exposure to the outside world as possible. To the folks saying B to SB and GOs to W. It's easier to have one person manage to wear a mask, wash hands, change out clothes away from baby, do their best to not bring anything home, than 4 or 10 people. Especially some that clearly don't consider limiting contact for newborns that have zero immunization anything important. Sometimes it can't be helped, but sometimes it can. And you need to do your best for your own children. Not the asshole, but realize you are asking a forum of mostly teenagers. Expect a few downvotes from people who don't know what birth, much less a C-section, is like. While you have every right to say I want no visitors during the first month, it's rather unfair to say I want my mum here but yours can't come. This comes across very much like you don't like your in-laws. I would be absolutely devastated if my wife had said my family couldn't come and see a newborn but allowed her family over. This is where I feel a lot of people forget that it's their child, not just hers. Yes, she carried and had the C-section, but it's still a joint affair. So your mom gets to spend the time with the baby but his parents don't? If they agree to sweep or something, will you let them see their grandson? I think you're just flexing your power in the situation and harming the relationship between you and your in-laws. So your mother lives in but your in-laws don't even get to visit once? That's ridiculous. So your mother lives in, but your in-laws don't even get to visit once? That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I think this sets the wrong precedent for family harmony. If the mother can be there for 2 months, the mill should have some limited opportunities to bond with her new grandchild as well. Repeat, I said limited, meaning with restrictions such as vaccinations, hand sanitizing or mask-wearing visits for an hour at approved times once every week, 10 days or whatever. Otherwise, this does seem like favoritism for her own mother. Also, maybe Mill could be the relief helper for mother when she is granted permission to visit. People nowadays don't seem to see the big picture as to fairness. That's my opinion. Sounds like the in-laws are expected to pay to see the baby groceries, etc., if I'm reading this right. You're the asshole. X200B. If you get to have your mom visit her grandchild, your husband needs to be allowed to have his mom visit her grandchild, too. You're the asshole. I really think this is just too much. I couldn't imagine keeping my in-laws from my child. It seems like the perfect way to set up drama for our relationship, and also seems weird to not share this joy with others. There's no evidence your in-laws will harm you, and I don't see how just grandparents being over will harm recovery. Not the asshole. Tell her when laundry day is and tell her to come over and do it. When she is done, she can have grandma time. See if she agrees. Nata. You're allowed to rest without feeling like a monkey at the zoo. While I agree that it's your choice to have whomever you want over or not have over, I think this has nothing to do with the cold and flu season. I think you just don't like them and don't want them around. Not the asshole. Healing from a C-section sucks. I know from personal experience. You aren't supposed to do much when it comes to housework because of it. It's great your mom is coming to help you. It might be different if your in-laws were offering to shop, bring food or cook, or help your mom with things around the house. They aren't. They can wait. I'm glad your husband is backing you, but tell him the truth. It's major surgery. It would be different if they were offering help. They aren't. They just want baby time. You shouldn't have to entertain them while recovering. Soft, you're the arsehole. I don't understand why you are willing to have hospital visitors but not anyone at home. It can't be about baby's immune system and is more about you not liking your in-laws. If you weren't having any visitors and needed complete bubble time, then that's different, but you'll be working and have a house guest for the duration. You're the asshole. Your mom is staying with you and your in-laws can't drop by for an hour with notice, while your husband is home. Tell them not to come if they are sick and ensure that they have an updated TDAP, assuming you are making sure your mother has one as well. This seems wildly unfair to your husband's parents, and I would also be mad if my spouse wanted to act like this. Please consider those are the baby's grandparents and you are setting the tone for the relationship. You could ask them to bring groceries or a meal when they come for a small visit. One day you may be in-laws and how you are treated is what you taught. Why can't the in-laws come over to spend time with the baby while your husband is home? He can entertain them and you can go take a nap. You're the asshole for unilaterally deciding the father's parents can't see their grandchild while yours can. Yes, I think it's cruel to allow your mother but not your husband's for a whole month. Where are you getting this arbitrary date from anyway? She doesn't have to stay all day, but to not allow her to even drop in on occasion or let your husband take the baby to her house so she's not bothering you? You're the asshole. Hot take, you're the asshole. From those of us who have birthed children, I'd like to remind you that you're not the first person to have a baby or C-section. Get a therapist now to work on coping skills. Schedule time for your in-laws to come at least once a week while your husband is home. Even if you are not feeling 100, rise to the occasion, sit on the couch and make conversation. No one is asking to climb a mountain with your mother-in-law on your back. Get over yourself. Seems extreme. You're the asshole. Am I the asshole? for being the reason why the family vacation has to be cancelled. Okay, to make it short, I married for money. My husband is with me for appearances and we are happy with our arrangement. My husband and I married because I have all the qualifications to please his family and he takes financial care of me. We are very fond of each other and even love each other. But not in the classical marriage sense. We are like amazing roommates with some benefits. He and I are free to live our lives independently and without stresses. He is not worried about being cut off from his family and I am finally financially stable and am free to work my job that simply is not as economically beneficial. To the problem, my sisters have never approved of my decision. They say I sold myself. Which, fair. But still we used to be civil with each other. Last week we held a family barbecue. I went without my husband. Everything was going great until my oldest niece sat down next to me and we started talking. And then she asked me straight up, if I was with my husband for money. I explained to her how we met, our agreement and so on. She then asked me if I think it would be okay for her to pretend to be her gay best friend's GF. I told her it was up to her to decide and if there was no negatives to it like her having actual feelings for him, someone getting hurt like a romantic partner etc. It was a lovely talk. Strike two was apparently when my other nieces asked me where my husband was and I told them that he was on vacation. They asked me why I didn't go with him and I said that we only sometimes go together to vacations. We usually take little trips together but go on longer vacations with friends or family. My niece asked me if it was true what her mom and aunt said about me being a gold digger and I just said I guess so. Like, that doesn't faze me. I know my sisters constantly talk about me behind my back and I am not ashamed about my marriage at all. So I see no need to lie. Later that night my sisters cornered me and we had a fight about my words with my nieces. They said it was completely inappropriate what I told them. That I am free to live my fucked up life but to not let my niece think that it is okay what I do. I called them small-minded and that I was only answering my niece's questions and I was even honest. They are free to do their own decisions. My sisters kept cornering me, calling me all sorts of names and saying I was basically influencing their daughters negatively because I was miserable. I said some words back and left, not talking to them the whole week. Now there is a huge fallout because I pulled out of the family vacation because of this fight. But the vacation would be at my husband's summer house. And as I am not going, my husband doesn't feel comfortable lending my family the house. My family has been calling me a huge and my sisters said that I was blowing things out of proportion. Am I the asshole? Should I still go? X200B. Not the asshole. Let's get this straight. You married a guy for his money, and he married you as a cover. That works for you. However, your family judges you for it, until they don't get to stay at his beach house because they disrespected you. You can't have your cake and eat it, too. Not the asshole. They can't criticize your marriage and rip benefits from it. From what you say, both you and your husband entered your marriage with eyes wide open and you've never lied about it to your family. You don't need to be ashamed of it. Your nieces are 16 and hear about your marriage from your sisters, so nothing wrong with being honest. They're old enough. Tell your sisters the house is from your fucked up life, so you're just saving them any further grief. Not the asshole. The only reason your nieces brought up you being a gold digger is that your family described you that way to them. That's your family's fault. Until they brought that up, you had a completely neutral sometimes my husband and I travel together, and sometimes we don't, which is fine, and it's not really anyone else's business how you arrange your lives. Not the asshole. So, you're not allowed to be married for convenience and money, but your family want to use your husband's vacation home for convenience and to save money? Talk about fucking hypocrites. What your arrangement is with your husband is between you and him, nobody else. If your sisters don't like it, then they shouldn't try to use that relationship to benefit themselves. Not everybody wants to find the typical archetype of love and marriage. You do and let them suffer. Also, be sure to point out their hypocrisy. Ha 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 ha, the irony of them being pissed off at not getting to use your husband's summer house, which they wouldn't have access to if you didn't marry for money, because they judged you and cornered you and complained about your life choices. They can't have it both ways. Not the asshole. It sounds like you gave your nieces honest and reasonable advice. As for your sisters, tell them how hypocritical they are to complain about your life choices and marriage while all the while benefiting from said marriage by getting to use his resources. Not the asshole. You didn't even say anything to them, let alone anything inappropriate. They were asking you inappropriate questions because that's what they heard said about you by their own parents. Your sisters sound jealous AF. Not the asshole. Oh no, the consequences of their actions. Christ, if you're happy they should be happy for you. There is more to life than the way they live their lives. Good on you being happy and helping your husband. How was it inappropriate for you to confirm what they had already told their daughters? I think it's far more inappropriate that they told their daughters anything about your marriage. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. But I don't think you need to be so harsh on yourself or your husband. All relationships are partnerships, and work in different ways. You clearly care for this guy and respect him, and he clearly trusts and respects you, so frankly stop calling yourself names and accept that you have a good relationship with someone you care about. It all sounds very sensible and mature. So they think you're a gold digger, but they have zero problems and clearly some feelings of entitlement about using your husband's property for a free holiday. Is there such thing as gold diggers in law? Just kidding, you and your husband are adults with an agreement in place that works for both of you. It's frankly no one else's business how you live your life. Ha 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 ho. First of all, I find it hilarious that your sisters sit there and talk shit on you to their kids and expect them not to ask questions. Second, given your personal state of mind around the whole lifestyle, I'm surprised they expect something less than honesty when their kids ask you those questions. Third, the size of the balls necessary to be mad they can't stay at your husband's beach house on account of their own fuckery is beyond comprehension. Not the asshole. Ha 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 ha, you gold digger you, totally inappropriate for you to have such a wonderful life and we reject you. Is it okay if we still use the villa? They don't like losing the privilege of your trappings though. You are not the asshole here. Your family doesn't get to demean and criticize your life choices and then also expect to benefit from those same choices. You absolutely should not go on vacation with them, nor should they be staying on your property after insulting you to your face and behind your back. I wouldn't spend any time with people like that, sisters or not. Not the asshole. They want financial benefits for free and are not even able to be nice to you. So seems like they need a new accommodation for their summer vacation. Not the asshole. She still expected to use your husband's beach house. They're just as much gold diggers as you are, relying on him for a holiday, but without any of your intrinsic honesty. Not the asshole. Your sisters, Otto. So even though they are dismissive of you and your husband's relationship, they are fully okay with using his property for a free vacation? Somewhat hypocritical? Your sisters object to your arrangement with your husband and shame you loudly at every chance they get, yet they want to reap the rewards of your marriage by using your husband's vacation house. No ma'am. Not the asshole. No, you should not still go, and this should be the last time an invite is extended to your family to use your husband's things. Not the asshole. Maybe they should have thought that the vacation was going to be at your husband's place before they went around and antagonized you unprovoked. Not the asshole. Cancel. Surely they should be uncomfortable using your husband's house for vacay since they disapprove of your marriage. I mean, gasp and clutch pearls, how could they hold their heads up from the shame of taking advantage of your gold-digging ways? Not the asshole. Am I the asshole? For telling my son that village you wanted doesn't exist since you burnt it to the ground. This is a bit complicated. I am a stepmom to 5 wonderful kids. I became their stepmom when the oldest was 9. I adopted all of them but one, and that is Nick. He never wanted me to be his mom, which is fine. The moment he turned 18 he made it very clear he doesn't care about me at all. I wasn't invited to his wedding, any holidays and so on if he was hosting. My last straw was when he told me that he will come to Christmas that I was hosting if I left. So we are very low contact. Along with that, he has blown up every sibling relationship. He has 2 girls now and he called me up. This was a surprise and we started talking. After a while he started complaining about not getting help at all to raise his kids. He asked me to watch them on Sunday and step up as a grandparent. I told him the reason the village doesn't exist to raise his kids is due to him burning that village down. He called me a jerk and hung up. My husband is iffy on the situation but told me it's my call since I would be the one to watch the kids most of the time since he travels often for work. So I am posting here. Not the asshole. He called to complain he isn't getting help. He didn't call saying he regrets that he messed up his relationships. He wants something from you, he doesn't want you. This sucks. Please prioritize yourself and the people in your life who actually care about you. Not the asshole. Your stepson burned down the village and burned the bridge leading to the village. It doesn't sound like he ever made any apologies for the brutal slaps in the face he gave you. But now he wants you to babysit? Nope. Not the asshole. If he trusts you enough as a person to help raise his kids, the problem was never you. The problem was always Nick. What has your husband been doing for the last however many years? Does he have a relationship with his son? How did you all function before Nick turned 18? Where is Nick's mother? There's too much missing here, but based on just the information it appears Nick is meeting the consequences of his choices. Not the asshole maybe? Info: how does his father deal with this? Like, did he go to his kid's wedding? What was his reaction when Nick said he'd come home for Christmas if you weren't there? I mean, not the asshole, obviously, but it kind of feels like your husband should have stepped in here at some point. Not the asshole. Actions have outcomes. He chose a course of action that eroded any family connections he had over the years. He can't come back now and complain that those connections aren't around to help him now that he needs them. This was his choice. He now has to accept the outcomes of his actions. Not the asshole. There is no way I would get involved with him or his kids. He's made it very clear for years that you mean nothing to him. The man wouldn't come to Christmas unless you left. And you're the host? Hell no. I love your line that the village doesn't exist because he burned it down. Very true. Your husband shouldn't be so ambivalent and solidly have your back. Info: what is your relationship like with your other 4 kids, or rather, your 4 kids? It sounds like you never adopted Nick. Also, has Nick ever said why he doesn't like you? As a mom, it seems really weird that he'd want to leave his kids with a woman he clearly despises. Leaning toward not asshole, but I'm a little confused. Not the asshole. And I'm not sure it mattered what his side of the story is. My sister's friend has a toxic mum and we all support her in that opinion. However, she is still asking for babysitting and cash off mum and then complaining about how toxic mum is, and criticizing the way mum provides childcare, etc. My point is, even if OP was abusive, which we don't know, you can't have both. You get the right to be low or no contact and despise your family member, or you have to suck it up if you want help from that person. Not the asshole. He has assumed he is far more important than he is. Thought you would be desperate for any scraps of acknowledgement so that he can use you. Good job telling him no, never back down. No, don't watch that prick's kids. Not the asshole. He's shopping for free childcare. People have every right to choose whom they associate with, but they don't get to come and go from your life at their whim and convenience. He never saw you as his mom, and now wants you to step up as a grandparent just because he needs someone to watch his kids. Not the asshole. He must be desperate. Makes you wonder how Nick burned all his other bridges. Not the asshole. It is unfortunate for him, but it was his choice. My guess is that he called because he wanted a reason to blame you. I don't deny Nick's right to dislike OP intensely, that is up to him, same as it's up to him to go North Carolina with OP and argue with all his siblings if he wishes. But actions have consequences. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It is bit hard babysitting if you are not allowed in the room. Also those kids don't know you. If Nick wants you to babysit, then he needs to start coming over for Christmas and dinner and try to be a part of the family. I would give him one chance to rebuild the village, just one. It means coming over for Christmas, letting you know the girls, but it will take years before the trust is back. Not the asshole. He is a suprema. Not the asshole. It was his choice and his right to not be adopted as a child, no one should hold that against him. However, how he's treated you and his sibs since becoming an adult is his choice also. You owe him nothing, good for you for telling him he's reaping the consequence of his own actions. Not the asshole. He burned his bridges. Not the asshole. He exhibits zero contrition but wants you to help him W the kids he brought into the world. He needs therapy. Not the asshole. You can't burn bridges and then expect them to be there when you realize you actually need one. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He regrets nothing. He just wants free babysitting. My husband is iffy on the situation. WTF? How can he be iffy about someone he supposedly loves being treated so poorly by his own son for so many years? It's not like those insults were veiled. Sure, his son is entitled to his opinion, but his actions crossed a line and were hurtful. He can hire a babysitter. And hubby needs to get off